please, if you have something. So basically, this is the theme. It is the SAP signature theme. So
Mm.
usually in ECC we used this theme only, but
Yeah.
when it comes to the SAP S4HANA, so we used the different theme. Okay, so that time, so if you have the different team, so you need to go to these options, and here you need to go to some visual design. So here there is a theme setting, and here basically maybe in our laptop, so that is the quartz theme.
Uh,
So you need to change into SAP signature theme, and
Okay.
once you selected, you need to click on apply and OK, and you need to log out and log in the system.
okay,
So
got it.
automatically this screen is appeared.
Sure.
Okay.
Next point. So we successfully completed the first topic. So it's very easy topic only. If you concentrate 1 hour or 2 hours, that is more than enough. Okay. So next we are going with the second chapter. So compared to the first chapter, this is some little bit lengthy chapter,
Okay.
and mainly in our training. So this is the art of our training. So
Oh,
because of the finance, we need to know the general ledger accounting and all. So usually, what do you mean by general ledger accounting? So we know we have some accounting cycle.
mm,
Okay. So in that accounting cycle, the manual accounting process we know. So first we write the general entry, and later we prepare the ledger, and later we prepare trial balance and P&L account, and finally balance sheet, some cash flow statement, funds flow statement, some director report. So we have
mm,
different type of the financial statements.
yeah.
So in manual, what we followed, so these are all things we did them manually. Okay. But when it comes to the accounting softwares like SAP or Oracle Soft or PeopleSoft or whatever it is, especially in the ERP applications, so usually we don't go all this process. So
Right.
that is the use of the why we used the accounting softwares. See, if you do same thing, whatever we did in the manual accounting process, so then there is no use to use the accounting softwares as well, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So especially in the SAP application, so mainly once we posted the general entry, okay,
Okay.
and the remaining things automatically performed by the system, like the system itself prepared by the ledgers, and system itself prepared by the P&L account or income loss statement or the balance sheet, or the remaining the financial statements also needs to prepare by the system automatically. So
Right.
we don't want to go with again to ledger things, and again we need to go with some balance sheet preparation and all. It's not required. So once we posted the general entry in the SAP application, so the remaining things automatically performed by the system, and where
System.
we can see that reports in the different T codes.
Yeah.
Okay. But especially how the system knows. So basically the SAP application, this is already programmed and already designed application. So we don't bother about how the system do this thing, that thing and all. It's already programmed. So
Yeah.
just we bothered about how we use that program effectively. So that is our issue,
Yeah.
especially in SAP General Ledger Accounting. So before we posted the transactions, so before we going into posting, so we need to maintain some prerequisite configurations.
Right.
So these prerequisite configurations will helpful to the system once we posted the general entry. So whatever the system needs to perform the different activities, so these prerequisites configurations is helpful to the system. So out of these prerequisites in SAP General Ledger Accounting, we have nearly 10 to 15 prerequisites is there.
Mm.
So before we post the general entry, or before we write any general entry into the SAP application, we need to know these are all prerequisite configurations what we need to maintain in the system and what is the importance, and why we need to maintain, and what is the impact once we maintain, and if you did some mistake, then what happened, and then again how we resolved that things and all we can see as part of this prerequisite configuration setups.
Got it.
So usually this starts with the chart of accounts, and this is the first setting we need to maintain in the system. And the next one is the account groups. So I will tell you one by one what is these things and all. And we have
Sure.
some retained earnings account, and we have some fiscal year variant, and we have some posting period variant,
Mm.
and we have some field status variant and document types, number ranges, tolerance, global parameters. So we have nearly 13 to 15 prerequisite settings we need to maintain in the system.
Right.
So out of this, we are going with the one by one. So the first one is the chart of accounts.
Mm.
So what do you mean by a chart of accounts in SAP? So the SAP chart of accounts is nothing but a list of GL accounts. So
Mm.
when we worked in the any business or any client closely with the business, we know so the business is maintained many GL accounts. A GL
Mm.
account in the sense, I hope you know, rent account is one GL account, and commission account is another GL account, and salaries is another GL account. So likewise, in general accounting process, we call as a account, rent account, salaries account, and all. But when it comes to the SAP, we need to call as a GL account, rent GL account, and a asset GL account, depreciation GL account. Each and everything we need to call as a GL account.
Still. Yeah.
Yeah. But when it comes to the SAP, we know the SAP is a global software,
Mm.
and it supports entire global, and it supports entire all the countries across the global.
Yeah.
And especially if you consider any one business, the best example is I will consider as Coca-Cola company. So this Coca-Cola company have a business across the world. If
Yeah.
you know or not, so if you observed these things in the Wikipedia, so they
Mm.
mentioned they have business across the 200 countries. So I hope originally we don't have that much of countries as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can see here. So they mentioned the Coke products were sold in over 200 countries and territories worldwide.
Yeah.
So even the Coca-Cola is a client of SAP, and currently I'm working with this enhancement project as well with
Oh.
some other student.
Okay.
So especially what is this company? So this is the Coke manufacturing company, and obviously in India also our favorite drink out of this product only, either Thumbs Up, Pepsi, or Coca-Cola, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And this company have the business across the global, all the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
But the point is, and that too, this company is used by this application, SAP application. And within this application, we know for the preparation of the concept. Earlier also, I told the company, like the group of company, and under the group of company, we have a company codes. But the point is, we need to classify the GL accounts majorly in SAP into three major parts. What is that? So first, we need to consider as a group chart of accounts.
Mm.
Group chart of accounts is nothing but whenever we created any one GL account, that GL account we can use across the group. Already earlier I showed one picture. So we have a TCS like Tata group of companies. Under the Tata group of companies, we have different company codes like TCS, Tata Motors, and Range Rover, or whatever it is. So when we create the GL account, if you defined that GL account is a under group chart of accounts, it means that GL account can use any company code across the group. So likewise, so in SAP, so the chart of accounts, majorly we have three type of chart of accounts. First is the group chart of accounts. And
Yeah.
the next is the country specific chart of accounts. What do you mean by country specific chart of accounts? We know each and every country, so we follow different taxation procedure, and each and
Yeah.
every country we follow different accounting principles. Like we have each and every country some local gap principles, and even we followed some IFRS. So we follow different things from country to country. So
Yeah.
especially some of the GL accounts we need to maintain for the satisfying, especially from their country requirement. So that time,
Mm.
so we need to create the GL accounts as part of country specific chart of accounts. That is the second type of chart of accounts in SAP.
Right.
And the next third thing. So the third chart of accounts is nothing but operating chart of accounts. Operating chart of accounts is nothing but whenever we run the business, whenever we operate the business, usually by the making of that operation, we incurred some expenses and we got some incomes as well. So whatever these expenses and incomes related GL accounts, we need to maintain as a operating chart of accounts into the SAP application. So likewise, we have three type of three type of chart of accounts in SAP. Like we have group chart of accounts and country specific chart of accounts and the operating chart of accounts. So these things and all. So when it comes to the theory, so we need to, I will open my material.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you can see the chart of accounts is nothing but the chart of accounts is nothing but group of GL accounts that controls the name of the general GL master and some control information as well. Okay, so especially in SAP we have three type of chart of accounts is there. So we have a operating chart of accounts, especially the SAP operating chart of accounts is used to recording the day-to-day transactions in a company code and country specific chart of accounts, especially the SAP helps to meet the country specific legal requirements, especially the tax related GL accounts and the accounting principles related GL accounts and all. So we maintain as a country specific chart of accounts. And when it comes to the group chart of accounts, it is very useful to prepare the consolidated of all the company codes. Why? Because once we maintained any GL accounts under the group chart of accounts, we can use it across the all the company codes. It's mainly using for the consolidated group chart of accounts as well. So likewise, we have three type of GL accounts, three type of chart of accounts in SAP. And this is the first topic. As a prerequisite configuration, we need to go with the general ledger accounting in SAP. Okay, so we have nearly 15 type of things, but the first one is the this one only. So
Right.
now we know. So again in SAP we have a ECC version and as well as SAP S4HANA version. So even we heard this term many times. What is the difference between ECC and as well as SAP S4HANA? Even
Yeah.
earlier in enterprise structure also, I said very clearly the business area is the difference point compared to ECC and SAP S4HANA. So we have a business area in SAP ECC, but when it comes to the SAP S4HANA, so the business area is absolute. And within that, so there is a segment reporting comes into picture in SAP S4HANA. So that is the change. And when
Yeah.
it comes to the general ledger accounting, especially the chart of accounts is also one is the different point comparing to ECC to SAP S4HANA. Okay, so in chart of accounts level also, we can see the difference between the ECC to SAP S4HANA. What is the difference?
Okay.
So if you worked in the ECC, usually we can create the chart of accounts with the help of OB13T code, or we have path as well. Here I mentioned the path and as well as the T code, both things. So if you see the screen in the ECC, just I took this screenshot earlier when I took this screenshot as well. So in ECC in OB13, so when we create the any chart of accounts, like any type of chart of accounts, group chart of accounts or operating chart of accounts or country specific chart of accounts, we can create with the help of OB13 only. Okay.
Right.
And in the description, we need to maintain what is this chart of accounts basically. Either it is group chart of accounts or operating or country specific or whatever it is. And here we need to give some four alphanumeric key as well for the chart of accounts. And we need to maintain some description as well. And we have some general specification we need to maintain. We need to tell to the system exactly on which language we need to maintain this chart of accounts. Why? Because the SAP will supports more than 44 languages across the global. So the
Right.
SAP will not only support the English, so we have Spanish, we have French, and we have German, we have Chinese, and we have Japanese. So it supports more than 44 languages. So
Okay.
because of that, whenever we create the chart of accounts, we need to mention on which language we need to maintain the chart of accounts as well. Okay. And
Okay.
the next point is the length of GL account number. So this is also very, very important. SAP will support maximum 10 lengths. So when we created the any chart of accounts, so I can see we have this one. By using this option, we need to give the length of GL account number. Length is nothing but the digits. So when
Right.
we created the GL account, how many digits we want, 6 digit or 8 digit or 10 digit. So the maximum
Mm.
number is 10 and the minimum is 1, but real time we can see minimum 4 and maximum 8, and maybe some clients they use it 10 digits as well. But
Okay.
we can see again the project to project and client to client, they maintain different GL account length number 6, 8, 10. So that is the client choice only.
Okay.
Next point. And this is the important point compared to ECC to SAP S/4HANA. So earlier in ECC, what happened? So there is a integration point. So in the chart of accounts, especially in the controlling integration point. So even so, the major difference between ECC to SAP S/4HANA, especially in the controlling module, this is the major point, my dear friends. So in the ECC, the controlling first chapter is the cost element accounting. But where it comes to the SAP S/4HANA, there is no cost element accounting in the controlling. So
Okay.
the cost elements is also part of general ledger accounting only in the finance. So in controlling in the SAP S/4HANA, the first chapter is the cost center accounting, not by the cost element accounting in the SAP S/4HANA. Why? Because
Okay.
earlier what we did, so the GL accounts we maintain separately and the cost elements we maintain separately. And the cost elements we maintain in the controlling module and GL accounts we maintain in the finance module. But the very important point is whatever the entries we maintain in the finance, so same entries we need to flow in the controlling module as well. So because of these things we maintain separately earlier, so we got some reconciliation issues as well. So we got some differences also sometimes, and that to rectify that differences amount and to rectify that reconciliation things and all, it's very hectic work of the consultants. So the SAP identify that place where we have some restriction or where we have some hectic things and all. So they comes with the new solution. So
Okay.
they eliminate the cost element accounting and the controlling. And even if you want to maintain the controlling related the GL accounts or controlling related the cost elements also, we can create in the SAP S4 finance
Anna.
ledger accounting itself.
Okay.
Ledger, general ledger
Mm.
accounting chapter itself, we need to maintain the cost elements as well. Okay, so because of that, but earlier what happened in ACC, when we create the chart of accounts, we need to define the integration part, how this chart of accounts is integrated with the controlling module with manual creation of cost elements or automatic creation of cost element. We have two options earlier here. But in the
Okay.
SAP S4HANA system, you can see in OB13, there is no that point. There is no integration point. So
Okay.
it is eliminated. So in FS00, we can create that one directly. Okay, so
Okay.
this is the major difference what we can see in chart of accounts level from the ECC to SAP S4HANA system. And
Okay.
even apart from this, we have some consolidation, some field as well, especially for the operating chart of accounts and for the country specific chart of accounts, if you want to connect your operating chart of accounts and country specific chart of accounts to your group chart of accounts, we can use this option.
Hmm.
So here there is a group chart of accounts. It means in OB13, first we created the group chart of accounts and next we created the operating chart of accounts. While we create the operating chart of accounts, if you want to connect your operating chart of accounts to group chart of accounts, in the second time, you need to give whatever the group chart of accounts earlier you maintained in this place.
Okay.
So, and the next
Like
point, so
like
yeah,
like we create it separately and then we group it to make it as a group
exactly,
typically.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly here.
Yeah.
So I'll see it's very simple in OB13. If you want to create group chart of accounts or if you want to create operating or if you want to create operating, so this is the screen only we need to create. There is no separate T codes or there is no separate screen to create group, country specific or operating. Okay.
Okay.
No.
But when we create the operating chart of accounts or when we create the country specific chart of accounts, if you want to connect those two into your group, so then we can use this option, the consolidation option.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Next, there is some blocked status also. So sometimes what happened, the business is asking to block some chart of accounts, especially at the time of go live time in the implementation project. So we need to block some chart of accounts, some hours. So that time we can use this option as well, the blocked option. If you click this blocked option, then what happened? So we are unable to post any GL accounts entries in this particular chart of accounts as well. So likewise in the chart of accounts, we need to know these are all the points, but the very important point is the difference between the ECC to SAP S/4HANA is this one. Okay.
Yep.
So
Okay.
here in theory also, I mentioned very clearly the process to create group chart of accounts is same as we create in the operating chart of account. But once you create it, assign it to one of the existing operating chart of accounts, what I explained earlier. Same point here I
Yep.
mentioned in the theory. And the next point, once we created the chart of accounts, we need to assign to our company code. Again, here I mentioned the path as well. And here I mentioned the T code as well, the OB62. So in OB62, so in this T code, whatever the chart of accounts we maintain, so we can assign to our company code as well.
Got it.
Next, how to display chart of accounts? Same T code, we need to go to OB13 and we need to select specific chart of accounts. And if you if you double click on that, again, the chart of accounts is displayed here. So same T code here I mentioned. And even already you have some existing one chart of accounts. So this chart of accounts you want to copy with some other new chart of accounts. We have this copy option as well. In SAP, this is common. So most of the times we have this copy option. Instead of we creating all the things, so just we copied already existing part. I hope you know very well.
Yeah.
And some of the
Yeah.
options we have a delete option as well. But again, the deletion is very danger task in the real-time working environment. And even in real-time systems, most of the delete options in disable mode. So
Hmm.
even the basis team and the security team itself, they put this one into as disabled status.
Yeah.
So we are unable to delete that things. And even in SAP, we know once we posted the general entry, there is no option to delete. But if you
Hmm.
want to make that entry as that one, we have a reversal option.
Yeah.
So again, in reversal, we have individual reversal, mass reversal. I hope you knows very well what do you mean by reversal. So once we
Yeah. Yeah.
did something wrong, so we
Yeah.
need to reverse it. That option we have, but there is no delete option in the SAP. Next point. So this point also I mentioned in the material in things and these points when while we are going with this topic, so we can expect these things in our mind, especially if you want to attend the interview also maybe in the interview side. So they asked these questions as well. This is also I mentioned very clearly in our thing in our in our material. So here I will share this material first of all.
Okay.
Uh,
I think your material is so much interview friendly.
hmm, mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So please go through that material and try to read theory. So the very important point is, my dear friends, so to maintain configuration in the system, it's not a big task, but to
Yeah.
understand the concept, that is the big task in the SAP. Why? Because
Mm.
while we attended the interview, so the interviewer is not giving one system to you and he is not asking to maintain so and so settings in the system. So they asked one question and we need to tell the answer. And
Got it.
obviously they asked indirectly only. They are not asked directly. What do you mean by operating chart of accounts, or what do you mean by these things? We know in
Mm.
interviews how the interviews is happens in the SAP environment. Obviously they asked indirectly. So we need to understand that thing, what the interviewer is expected from us, and according to that, we need to tell the answer. Okay. So
Sure.
now I will open the system. I hope the time is out. So even when you practice the system also, if you open the system and if it exits, if it's more than 5 minutes, automatically your system is locked out like this.
Yeah.
So that time you don't worry, just you can click on yes, and you need to relog in the system.
Yeah.
So even we don't have any other option also. So especially in the educational server, even in the real-time systems also same you can observe. So if it's more than 5 minutes, or in real-time system, we can see 10 to 15 minutes, I think, the maximum time. So after that, automatically our system is logged out.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going with OB13 to create the chart of accounts. So same screen, what I mentioned in the screenshot, I need to click on new entries. And what is our company code? K100, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So same thing I will mention as, I will put into general ledger accounting as well, chart of accounts. And one more thing, especially whatever we did these things, I hope you know these things and all we did in the implementation project only, my dear friends. Okay. And again, in the implementation project, the client will provide you. These are all information. We don't worry. Okay. So in our practice purpose, just we maintain as per our wish. But when it comes to the real time projects, these things and all provided by the business, and whatever the business is provided the information, same information we need to maintain in the system.
Yeah.
Okay. So here I need to select English and I will give my length is 6 number in the GL account. And here I don't give any chart of accounts, group chart of accounts. And here I will click on save. So can I take any different one? Cola 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Okay, 9 p.m. K group of companies. Okay, this is my tier, and I select this one.
Mm.
And my data was saved, and same information I'm putting here K100. And here from this case, here I need to explain one more point also. Okay, I will
Okay.
complete this one, and we are discussing that point as well. I need to go to OB62.
Yeah.
So here my company code is K100. So here I need to mention my chart of accounts as K100. So when we assigned our company code to chart of accounts, usually here the system is allowed to maintain two things. So two chart of accounts is the system is allowed. So in the real time cases also how we maintain. So majorly here we maintained some group chart of accounts here. And here we will maintain either operating or country specific chart of accounts. Okay, so this way we maintain in the real time. But in our practice purpose, we can maintain like this. Whatever the chart of accounts I created. So this one I
Okay.
maintained here. And what is that topic? What I need to explain. See, in SAP, we have some system landscape topic. So do you know what do you mean by system landscape? Giri and Rakshana?
The pixel in which, sorry, or what we call as 1280 into 720, something like that.
Ah, so the System landscape is nothing but arrangement of servers. So basically in SAP, we have three type of systems. I will tell you again, this point comes under different training, but okay, no problem. So here you can
Okay.
see what do you mean by system landscape. So basically in SAP, we have three type of systems in the real time things. So development system, quality system, and production system. So in the real time project, so we did the customizations and we did the configuration in the development system. And once the configuration is done, and we need to send it to the quality system. And again, in the quality system, so we need to do the testing, whether we maintained correctly or not in the development system. And
Mm.
once we are okay, so then finally we will send to the production system. Usually the production system only the day-to-day business transactions, the live data is recorded in the production system.
Yeah.
Whatever you posted the entries so from the business side, so they used this system. And
Yeah.
being a SAP consultant, we are always worked on the development system. Even in the real time, we have very limited access. For the developers, we have development system access. We don't have any production system access. And when it comes to
Mm.
the business, again, the business have a production system access and they don't have the development system access. This is common. So regarding this one, so this topic is not easy topic. It's very lengthy topic, friends. And I request you to please go through some 5 or 6 videos. I will show you and I will share that videos as well.
Okay.
Whenever you have
Okay.
time, so please go through that videos to learn the system landscape.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So here you can see 5 videos I uploaded in my YouTube channel. So it's
Mm.
very interesting topics only. And the very important point is we have three systems, right? Like the development system, quality system, and production system. So in the real time project, how we will move our changes from development to quality and from development to production, that is also very tricky point in the real time projects perspective. So even in
Okay.
these 5 videos, especially the part 5 video, some part 4 and 5 videos, I explained that points only with the help of some screenshots as well. So please go through these videos and try to understand the system landscape. Okay, so
Okay.
these 5 videos, so please go through that 5 videos. Okay, so now again we come back into the chart of accounts concept. So we maintained OB13 and we maintained the OB62 as well. Okay, this is the very easy things. So even when you practice this one also, please maintain your data like this only in Excel. So obviously we forget what we maintain earlier. And at the time of entries posting, again, we need this information. Otherwise, we are unable to post the entry into the system as well. Okay. So next, we are going with the account group concept. Is it okay, both of you, chart of accounts, or
Yeah.
is it okay, right? Giri?
Yeah.
Okay, no doubts, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
even once this class is completed, whenever you have time, so please go through this document and try to understand. It's very easy things only, nothing is difficult. But again, please go through the document at least one time and try to understand these things. Okay,
Sure.
so now we are
Okay.
going with the account group, the second prerequisite configuration of the general ledger accounting. So this is the account group. And before that, even do you know what are the data types we have in functional point of view in SAP? We have master data and we have transactional data. We have configuration slash customization data. Likewise, we have three type of data is there in the
Okay.
SAP. Do you know? Not.
Mm.
And generally,
Okay.
I'm saying like master data is typically, required for any process we need, be it APR, be it AR, or whatever. So
Mhm.
that is typically master data. Transactional data is what comes in as your transaction. Be it, I'll take again the AP example. your
Mhm.
invoice processing or payment processing is typically your transactional configuration and customization. I think it is to design the requirement of that particular account or project. How do they want to or client, how do they want to design their particular business module?
Exactly. So usually in SAP, master data is nothing but especially this master data we maintain one time and we can use multiple times.
Yeah,
In finance, we have GL master data and asset master data, and we created usually one time and we can use multiple times.
yeah,
And even we have other master data also, like customer master data, material master data, vendor master data, profit center master data, cost center master data. So likewise, the master data meaning is very simple. We can create one time and we can use multiple times. And why the master data is important in SAP, especially in the SAP application, wherever the repetitive work is there. See, for example, if you don't maintain the customer master data, what happened? Whenever the customer comes into our business, whenever he purchased some goods from business, at the time of billing, we need to maintain the customer details every time. Instead of we maintain repeatedly the customer details, so we can create a customer as a one master data and we can use that number. We are giving one number to that customer master data, and in next time onwards, just we are using that number itself. The remaining data automatically copied by the system. That is the concept of master data. We have different type of
right.
master data in SAP. From the finance point of view, majorly we have two type of master data. One is the GL master data. Whenever we create one rent GL account or commission GL account or liabilities GL account, that is the master data. It means with the help of the GL account, we can post n number of entries into the system.
Yeah,
Next point, transactional data. Transactional data is nothing but whatever we posted the general entries into the system for the day-to-day business transactions. So while the day-to-day business transactions is happened from the business side, whatever the entries we posted into the system, simply we are called as transactional data. And when it comes to the configuration slash customization data, for the achieving of any functionality in the SAP, and whatever I did maintain the systems here. So these are all things is comes under as part of configuration slash customization data. So likewise, in the functional point of view, I am not talking about technical point of view. Technical point of view, the data types is different. Test data
mm,
type, numeric data type. So they followed different data types, correct? But when it comes to the functional point of view, we have a data like this: master data, transactional data, and configuration slash customization data. Configuration, and again, there is small difference as well. Configuration and customization. Configuration is nothing but for the achieving the SAP standard functionality, whatever the configurations we maintain in the system, simply we call as configuration data. But when it comes to the customizations, especially in SAP, we have some enhancement scenarios also. It means as per the business requirement, we need to change the some functionality, some feature in the SAP system. So that time, whatever the required data we maintain in the system, so simply we call as customization data as well. Okay. So these
right.
points also basic points. This is not a tough points, but even we need to know these points also. Next point, the account groups, the second point of the prerequisite configuration. So account groups is nothing but when we consider any business, the business contains the lot of GL accounts. In the real time, obviously you have experience in business. They maintain 1500 GL accounts, 2000 GL accounts, 3000 GL accounts. But when we are going with our training, maximum we will create 30 to 40 GL accounts only. But when it comes to the real time, you know how many GL accounts we used in the system. Okay. And
Yeah.
because of this n number of GL accounts, for our easy understanding or for our easy convenience to the prepare the financial statements, we can grouping the similar nature of GL accounts into particular group. So that concept only we are called as account groups in SAP.
Right.
So whenever we try to create the GL account, we need to define the account groups as well. So especially in the SAP, we have a account groups like this. Here, I mentioned some share capital group and reserves and surplus group, current liabilities and provisions group, secured loans, unsecured loans, accumulated depreciation. So likewise, we can create these different groups. And even some clients, they maintain only four groups: expenses, incomes, assets, liabilities. And some clients,
Mm.
they maintained different type of groups like this. So it's completely again the client choice only. Okay. And whatever the client is looking to maintain this account groups, we can maintain it. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So now, so the T code is OBD4, how to create the account groups. So I need to go to system one more time. Yeah. So the transaction code is OBD4 to create the account groups. And again, here we have a new entries option. So we need to give our chart of accounts, account groups, name, and from account number to account number. Especially here, the chart of accounts is nothing but what we created earlier. So we created some K100 chart of accounts. So that one we need to maintain it here. And account group is nothing but this is the shortcut name of the account group. For example, if I want to maintain the share capital, so this is not allowed by the system. So in account group, it is allowed only the four digits. So that time, so we need to maintain like this. Instead of I entered the all the group name, so just I can give the group name like this: SCPL, share capital.
Right.
Next, the name, here we mentioned the complete full name of the account group. What is our account group full name? Here we mentioned. And here the from account and to account is nothing but the number range here. So number range in the sense, for example, if you give this account group from this number to this number, it means you need to create the GL accounts from these two numbers itself. It means, so here I mentioned 1 lakh to 1,19,999, right? So in future, if I want to create one GL account into the system, I need to give, if I used this account group, I need to give that number between this numbers only, 1 lakh to 1,19,999. This is also very important when we create the account groups into the SAP application. Okay.
Right.
So that
So
means when we are creating the GL accounts or chart of accounts, we should follow this and then the second step, right?
yes, exactly. So even when we created the GL account also, that time I showed you one more time, and whatever the
Mm-hmm.
things we required, and once we posted the general entry also, I will tell you one more time. These prerequisite configurations, how it is helpful when we create the GL account or when we post the GL transaction into the SAP application. So that
Mhm.
class I will try to explain with all this one by one point importance.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So just here, instead of I maintained these are all things into the system. So I want to copy from already existing my chart of accounts. I think I maintained earlier with the Tata. Yeah. And Tata. Okay. So where is that share capital group? Ah, it is there. Okay. So just I'm selected the existing some chart of accounts, and within this I will copy into our current chart of accounts. Okay. So in SAP, when you want to maintain any configuration, obviously we have two options. Either you can create new entries or either you can copy already existing options. Okay. So earlier I created new entries in chart of accounts, and now this time I will copy with the existing options. So here I
Right.
need to change my chart of accounts into K, K100, what we created earlier. So in practice time also, so please, when we do the first time practice, so please go with whatever I said in the class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so once you have some confidence in first time practice and once you got the general entries, in second time onwards, if you want to do some experiments, yes, you can do from your side. Even you
Okay.
can apply your real time things into this things also. But again, there is some differences between the free server to real time, what we use the real time servers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And don't expect all the things in the free server.
uh,
So in free server, we have some limitations. So don't expect all the things from the free server.
yeah.
But when it comes to the real time servers, yes, whatever we want, so we will do, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. So likewise here, just I changed my chart of accounts to our chart of accounts, and here I mentioned my groups and same things I given in our material as well. Okay, so just you can go through this one, and whenever you practice, so please maintain like this.
Sure.
Okay. So this is the concept of second thing, the account group. Next, third concept. Here in our material, I given the T code and I mentioned the path. Even I given the path each and every screenshot where it is exactly mapped. I think I need to remove this and all. It's increase our material number of materials pages as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we are going with the third point, retained earnings. Okay. So what do you mean by retained earnings? So yeah,
Accumulation of profit.
sorry.
I mean, accumulation of profit of the
Exactly,
company.
exactly. So whenever we got any profit in P&L account or whenever we got some loss, we know. So that one we need to transfer to the balance sheet reserves and surplus. At the
Hmm.
same time, so we need to carry forward it into next year's as well. Correct?
Right.
Yes.
So these things, how we can achieve in the SAP. So again, the answer is the SAP retained earnings account. So simple concept, very easy point. So same thing here, I mentioned the theory as well, lot of theory. Account balances are carried forwarded from one fiscal year to the next fiscal year by using the SAP standard carry forward the program. So the retained earnings account is assigned to each P&L account type, specifying PL account type in the chart of accounts, and each P&L account is retained earnings will helpful to carry forwarded that profit from one year to another year. This is very easy topic only. Nothing is big. And how to define the retained earnings account with the help of OB 53 T code. So I need to go to OB 53. So each and every chart of accounts, I need to maintain my retained earnings account. Here I selected K100. And here the profit and account type, I need to select X. X represents the profit and loss account. And here I mentioned one GL account, and same GL account I provided in this screenshot as well. You can see here, and we will maintain here. So I maintained this one and try to save this one. So I got one warning. So basically in SAP, we have three type of messages. One is the red. So it means that is the error and the system will not allow to save that entry. If we got the red color message here. In message front, we have some red color here. That is the error. It means we can't save the transaction. And the second message type is the yellow type. So it means the system is warned you. If you okay, then we need to click enter one more time and the system is able to save this entry. That is the yellow color. The system is warning you. Next point, the third point, green color. Green color describes the success. For example, if I click on enter, if I give my tr here, if I click on continue, now you can see the green color tick mark is happened. So it means our entries is successfully saved in the system. So likewise in SAP, we have only three message types only. One is red, that is error, and second is yellow, that is warning, and the third is the green, that is successful. So now I maintain my return earnings account in the system. So
Okay.
likewise, we maintain three prerequisite configurations until now. So the very important point is the chart of accounts and account groups and return action. These are the two small points only. Okay. So then I will stop the session, and this is the
Okay.
big topic. So we need to go 30 to 40 minutes of time. So tomorrow we will try to finish 1 hour to these topics.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So any doubts, any queries? Usually in regular training, so this topic I took 1 hour, and these two things I took 1 hour. Sorry, the chart of accounts I explained 1 day, and again the account groups and return earnings account I explained 1 day. But I hope you understand what I explained. Okay, and I don't want to explain in detail. I hope if you need, then that's fine. No problem for me. Is it
Okay.
okay what I'm telling to both of you, or do you need any in-depth explanation?
No, whenever we need, we'll ask you.
Okay,
Mm.
okay, good,
I
good.
think
In that,
these part as of now, whatever we have gone through as of now, I
mm,
think mostly we can relate to what we are already doing, right? So I think
exactly.
Yeah.
there are not much of questions, but as we get into the subject further and further, and again as we start practicing on the tool, I think
Yeah,
we may get questions. We'll get to you.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah,
good. But you can ask before completing our course, na? Don't ask
yeah, yeah,
after.
yeah. Sure, sure. Definitely. Yes.
Yeah, even you can ask, no problem for me. So I will be available at any time
That's that'll
after
be
this
too late.
course as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But the thing is,
See,
if you practiced whatever I said, and if you have
yeah,
some doubt, if you clarify this doubt itself in our course time itself, then you will
Mm.
get complete idea.
Okay.
yep,
Yeah, please do practice from your side.
yep,
And while you practice, if you get any error or anything, just to take that screenshot and send to me in WhatsApp. I will try to give the solution as well. So I hope for both of you, so you didn't have that much of issues. Why? Because you have already real-time exposure. So, but
Mm.
don't negligence, so don't
yeah,
neglect.
yeah,
So at least you
yeah,
Yeah.
can
yeah, yeah.
practice 1 or 2 times.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, okay. So that's it. And my dear friends, even I will share. Even I will share this Excel sheet also.
Mm.
So no problem. But you can maintain while you practice these things. You can maintain your own data.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I shared this Excel sheet as well. Okay.
Mm.
So that's it from my end. So thank you for joining today's session. We will meet
Yeah.
tomorrow at same time, 9 p.m. IST.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure, Gopi. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah,
Thank
much.
you.
yeah. Good
Thank
night.
you
Good
very
night,
much.
both of you. Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.